Here we are at Duke's, viewers, in Port Carling, Ontario, and Duke's hasn't fared quite as well as a couple of the other shops in terms of flooding. I see the first floor in the restaurant is obviously closed, and those of you that watched the video we produced recently of the Muskoka River raging, this gives truth to that video. Still some significant flooding in parts of Muskoka. Let's go in though. We can't go on the second floor and see what's cooking. We're looking at a Gravette runabout here, viewers, a 1936 20.5 footer for sale. $29,995. Once again, the throttle on the wheel here, I think.
The Seabird, I guess.
Yeah.
I can't be seen in a Seabird though. That's just
I use the same technique on my hair, so I just leave it
Hooker.
It doesn't work all the time.
Nice wide beam. Looking here, viewers, at a Gravette shearliner. The sheet reads 1954. I wonder about that. It looks somewhat older than that, but mind you, its condition might make that date seem questionable. And a hardtop sedan. Substantial boat. Obviously in for a very major restoration. This boat's liable to be in the shop for probably a year or more, I would think. Great when she's finished. Beautiful job on this boat. Hammond Island from the French River. I'm fairly confident that this is a Gravette shearliner. Once again. Obviously in much better condition than the last boat we examined. But look at the finish on that, viewers. Once again, just like glass. Obviously in for some major work nonetheless. Here's a quick view of a Garwood Gentleman's Racer, viewers. Beautiful boat. Obviously the power plant has been replaced. Monstrous engine. Lots of decking ahead. This boat would fly, I'm sure. Here we have a brown boat, viewers. Long deck lounge, huge open cockpit. On Clyde 3, by the look of it, if I pronounce that correctly. This boat certainly looks like it dates from the 20s. Interesting windshield design. Hinged panels and opens in the middle. That's certainly good on a hot day. Interesting windshield configuration here, viewers. Both panels open frontwards. That would certainly offer lots of ventilation on a hot summer day. Once again, lovely lines. We're just outside Tom Adams' boat shop, viewers, in Port Carling. This is a brand new shop for Tom. Our congratulations. So this will be a first time ever for Port Carling boats in Tom's new boat repair facility. Well, here's a surprise, viewers. Miss Canada 4 is back for a revarnishing and tightening up. We're touching up and a new windscreen, apparently. If you followed some of our YouTube videos on PC Boats and Cottages, you'll have seen us following Miss Canada 4 during some test drives last summer. She's clocked in the 1950s, I believe, at a top speed of just over 200 miles an hour, about 210 miles an hour. Unfortunately, it wasn't an official time, but she's a really fast boat, obviously, with her Rolls-Royce Griffin engine. No doubt she'll be cruising around on the lake again this summer for more testing and fine-tuning of the engine. We'll look forward to trying giving you some more close-ups of Miss Canada 4 in the water. We're looking here, viewers, at Grey Rock, a 26-foot Duke triple cockpit. She's in for bottom repairs and new planking and some repair of the splash rail. This is a beautiful Duke.
I didn't know that they built them this big.
Yes, this is a big boat for Duke, for sure. Their typical runabout was 18 to 22 feet. Beautiful triple cockpit with the windscreen at the back as well. Very roomy. Smooth skin. Nice cockpit. Quite a barrel stern, quite a pronounced barrel stern at the back here. And room for that third set of passengers.
Think about what they called it, and she was done with that.
Very nice boat.
I think they called it.
We're looking here at Old Glory, a 21-foot custom model, 58 runabout, model 58 rather. The year of vintage is 1934. She's a Chris Craft, triple cockpit, powered by a 125 horsepower Chrysler flathead engine. In brackets below, repowered. This boat's for sale with a custom trailer, tandem axle. No price on the listing. Looks like the pretty traditional power plant. Quite a spacious rear cockpit again. Nice wide beam midships as well. Here we are at our second last stop of the tour, viewers. We're at Blackbird Boats in Port Sydney, Muskoka. Paul's been working on a brand new build, Paul and his staff, Paul Hunter, and it's a Blackbird Storm. And we have focused on this boat in the past. Let's see what kind of progress they've been making with this beautiful boat. Well, here we are, viewers. You can see the Blackbird Storm's coming along really well. This 28-footer with a 9-foot beam. This beautiful thin mahogany stripping along the side.
You can use another guy.
Paul and his staff have used an epoxy system on the boat. It's going to be like an airplane fuselage, solid as a rock. No flex in this boat. Can hardly wait to see her when she's finished. Here's another new build in Paul's shop, viewers. Once again, I expect that the epoxy system's been used. Cold molded, layers of thin ply, marine ply, bonded together. Obviously the wooden windshield will go. I see the captain's ready to command the ship. Paul's boats always have a great solid feel to them and a look to them. I'm sure they're very structurally sound. This presumably is going to be the engine compartment here. Perhaps no forward mother-in-law seat in this one. We'll try and get back to the shop before this one leaves too. Give you a look at the finished product. Viewers, we're still at Paul Hunter's facility, and we're going to have a word with Mac Suter, who's been working on the hull of this Century, giving it a new hull and doing some other work. So I've asked Mac if he would explain exactly what he's done to this hull.
Yeah, sure, no problem at all. This is brought in by a customer out of Lincoln Bays, and it's a 1967 Century Resorter. And last year we restored it from the waterline up and put all new upholstery in it and fixed all the upper from the waterline, like I say, up. Right. And then he took it back and used it, and it was leaking badly with the old technology, old school boat, the way it was built. So we brought it back and flipped it over. We totally gutted all the ribs, bit piece by piece, and kept the shape of the boat, because you don't want to lose the shape. You can lose the integrity of the boat, and it's hard to get back. So we replaced the frames, frame by frame, and went with the new technology, which is laminate plywood on the frames, solid epoxy, and then epoxy solid 1/4 inch mahogany planking on top of that.
Wow.
So now from the waterline down, it's new technology. It doesn't have to expand or contract. You can trailer it in and out on a trailer and maintain the old school technology from the waterline up.
Okay. And this would be considered cold molded, I presume,
Yes.
Mac, would it? Yeah, cold molded
Yeah.
bottom rather. Well, thank you for the explanation.
Yeah,
and
no problem at all.
good luck with the rest of the restoration.
Yeah, no problem.
Viewers, we'll try and come back before this boat leaves the shop too, and so we can show you it finished. Over and out. Hello, viewers. Our last stop on the tour this afternoon is at Harwood Watercraft. Handcrafted wooden boats. Mark and his wife have been on this site for a few years now, following a sailing adventure in Europe, in which Mark produced a book called Lifeboat, and we'll come and take a look and see what he's got on tap. Viewers, we're looking here at a tender, as Mark likes to refer to it. For me, it's a small skiff, but apparently either appellation is appropriate. I've asked Mark if he would say a few words about the boat. It's looking beautiful and pristine, like all Mark's work does, but anyway, Mark, do you mind talking to us about how you constructed the boat and so on?
It's certainly looking pristine on the inside anyway. It's yet to be painted on the outside.
Oh, okay.
But,
well, we won't go there.
Yeah. Well, I've left it as a display boat for the summer. So this is on spec, and I usually cart a few boats around, as you know.
Right.
So I came up with this design about, I guess, 4 years ago. And just as a stable little learning craft. It certainly functions well as a rowboat, but it also handles a pressive sail quite well.
Okay.
Good for novices or kids. And
sure.
Indeed, the first one that I sold went down into the States, and it's in Brooklyn, Maine. And the gentleman who bought it, he uses it for a tender for his bigger sailboat.
Right.
But apparently, he has trouble getting into it because his grandkids took to it so much.
Wow,
so
wasn't that great?
He has them sailing in it all the time, and apparently his little, I think, 11-year-old just spent the whole summer sailing and learning. And
neat.
It's very forgiving, and like I say, for a relatively small craft, it's quite stable.
Yeah, it's got a good beam on it.
Yes,
I guess that would help.
Right. Yeah,
plus with the keel down.
Yeah.
The drop keel.
I aim for simplicity again. Like I say, whether you are a seasoned sailor and for just kicking back, it's got a freestanding mast.
Okay.
I actually have the mast over there, and it's so there's no shrouds and fuss and forestays to set it all up. It virtually sits right in there in the foot on the keel there.
Neat.
And it's supported by the thwart, and that's it. There's yet to be a little eye in the seat to tension the sail. You have one line up to raise it and one line to control it.
Wow, so it's easily done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the wood itself, it's a laminated marine ply, I presume, is it?
That's right. It's marine ply and built lap strake, and the laps are epoxy sealed.
Okay.
It's a continuous bond.
Inside and out?
No, not as a coating, just as a glue on the laps.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
The coating itself on the boat is typically an undercoat and two finish coats.
Okay.
But I don't use epoxy as a coating, just as a glue.
Okay. And the transom, what would that be? Looks like oak almost.
That is actually mahogany.
Mahogany.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
and what would its weight be, Mark?
This is it's a 10'6", 4'2" beam, and it weighs probably about 100 pounds.
So you could car top it if you had
Absolutely.
a couple of people to help you get it on the roof.
Yeah. My wife and I pick it up and put it on the trailer, in the summer. But yeah, you can certainly flip it up and put it on some racks. Very, very easy. Yeah.
That's great. Well, there you have it, viewers. Mark Harwood's sailing and rowing skiff or tender, depending on your point of view. And so if you're interested, give Mark a shout at Harwood Watercraft.
Correct.
That's all for this afternoon and for the boat tour. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, viewers. Over and out.